Coming at you from the Steel City, you're listening to Poor Man's Podcast, Pittsburgh's premier comedy podcast. Your weekly dose of humor, hosted by Chris Hopper and with a new special guest each week. And here's your host, Chris Hopper.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Poor Man's Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Along with me this week is the beautiful Shaylee, baby. Shaylee, how are you doing this fine evening?
Doing fantastic. Couldn't be happier.
Shay, I think we need to address the elephant in the room from the beginning for everybody at home. It is about 107 degrees in here.
Maybe 113, honestly.
It's extremely hot. So
yeah.
We got the waters and refreshments. So
I'm trying to be the smartest I can be for this episode. So smart water it is. I'm living a sober life.
Good for you, Shay. Good for you. That's sober a smart choice.
With what?
With your Shay, we got to get you a hat, maybe. We got to start. You haven't used enough.
I know. That's actually true.
You could wear that. You've 2 weeks in a row with this.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got to get a hat.
I think everybody would love that. Honestly, if I was wearing it around, people would be like, that's Shaylee, I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've had a couple people come up to me, and whenever you are mentioned, they always say,
Yeah, obviously. That's the best way to do it.
So
it's a whole thing.
It's great. Now, Shay, another thing we need to tell everybody. Now, we were worried about in the beginning. We didn't know we had stuff to say.
Always.
But something happened prior to us turning on the mics. Shay, I'm going to have you tell the story. Now, we do have it. We haven't checked the cameras yet.
Oh, my God.
Not yet. But we know that it's on camera. Now, Shay.
Definitely on camera.
You're here right now, alive and well.
I am, and for only one reason.
Please tell us, Shay.
And that one reason, of course, is the Mr. Christopher Hopper.
Oh, why is that?
So, honestly, I can't wait for the footage because, I don't know how much it got over here, but probably to see my reaction was, oh my God. So, Chris is walking, first of all, we won't even discuss the fact that he had no idea why he was in the kitchen 3 different times. And one of his quotes were, whatever I am looking for is probably not in the freezer.
I was just standing there with the freezer open, and I was like, whatever I'm in here for. It was like a pen.
Yeah, it was not anything that was...
It was not a frozen product.
A fridge product, I would say.
Probably not even a kitchen product.
No, I agree. I mean, you can find a pen in there, but
Yeah,
So he's walking around the corner, and we have this one light that's at the end of the table. And I was somewhere gone, staring off to, I don't know where I went. And he comes around, and he's got a water bottle in one hand, and he's got his beer in the other hand. And this light starts falling behind you. I don't see anything. And he just, the person he is, switches hands, throws the water bottle in one arm, throws the beer can in one hand, and snatches this light. And it probably gets to right here.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
I'm super short. And when he made a noise, and I threw my hand up to
because I turn this corner here. This is great for podcast. We turn the corner here. Oh, look at this.
Here.
Right. Oh, yeah, you really have to see it to believe it. But
the light's right above me.
So yeah, let me explain it for everybody listening on the podcast.
I'm mad. I did a really good job.
So now that we're doing YouTube and TikTok videos and stuff, we have some lighting in here in our makeshift studio. And I'm new to lighting, but I'm trying to make it look good in here. And I guess it wasn't as sturdy as it should have been, maybe, but it started to fall, and it got within, I don't know, 7 inches of her face. We've all been there, right?
I'm mad.
Yeah. And Yeah, I'm a hero, is what she said.
He switches his 2 drinks and catches this light before it ever even comes close.
I did not want that light to break.
And he quote unquote screams, "I'm a hero!" And I'm like, yeah.
So
no, you are.
That'll be a perfect TikTok, Shay. Hero. A literal hero in front of us.
I'm dying.
In our very eyes. Now, I don't think it's on this camera here that we have the side view, but I'm hoping the peripheral of the main one We definitely have it almost hit your face because if you're in the frame, this light's gonna hit you.
But what I think is hilarious is that when it also caught, the camera just caught me catching it. So like, I just want to say,
You know what we should do?
it looks like I'm the kind of like the hero, if we're gonna speak technically.
Now, I'm not gonna say there's any foul play afoot, but it's on camera. Now we see this camera fall. She's trying to have a workplace accident. I know the person Shay is, man. She's just trying to hammer those checks.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah, man.
I'm just trying to get paid.
I got you, Shay.
Oh my god.
So I'm a hero. I'm glad we started with that.
I'm a hero.
Shay, we're 5 minutes in. We should probably talk about our guest.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm very excited to have him on tonight, and I'm very anxious about it. Not because of him, because I know he's going to do a great job. Because of my connection. I've never done a Zoom call recorded on this. So we're going to hope this goes through.
I'm very excited for that. I didn't know it was a Zoom call.
Oh, is that look at you.
Surprise!
Yeah, why? You're the tech guy? You can't even get under a light right. You're not going to work the computers.
Honestly, everything falls for me, so.
Okay. I did the moment I saw you, Shay.
I know. You know what I mean?
No, my God, that's not going to get old real fast. But anyway, we have Q Williams on. He is a former two-sport Big Ten athlete at Northwestern.
Wow.
And he's turned leadership coach. He's very impressive. He has a master's degree in sports management. He's the founder of world-class leadership training. Like I said,
Wow.
he was a former two-sport Big Ten athlete. That's not,
Unheard of.
being a one-sport athlete
Yeah.
is very impressive. Two-sport at Northwestern, which is no slouch. I mean, that's Big Ten schools.
Right.
You're playing Ohio State, and Michigan, and Penn State. Like, you're playing good schools. So.
Wow. Good
And
for him.
it's not. I mean, you have to have some intelligence to get in there. So.
Yep.
I'm excited to have him on. Talk about sports. Talk about some mental health. Talk about. Kind of the connection and concussions, all athletes, all the head stuff, and just moving on after you leave the game because a lot of athletes, they're used to this lifestyle coming up, and especially Big Ten, big time players, they're used to this.
It's like a routine.
Well, they're used to that. It's their identity. It's what they know.
Yeah.
And when you play football, it's an everyday thing. You do it. It's your lifestyle, and then it goes away. And what do you do then? There has to be a void.
Yeah.
And it's not all. I mean, it's not just sports. Anybody doing that. I'm sure people in theater or something.
You're right.
Or whatever they're doing. These men and women doing Olympics right now.
Yeah.
They train their entire lives.
Like this is
for
literally
like
their
30
life.
seconds maybe.
Yeah.
Or a handful of dives. And it comes down between millimeters of seconds. And then if you don't make it, sometimes you're just done. And then what is that?
What happens after that? What do you do?
So I'm excited for Q to be on.
Yeah, you don't really, those are things that you don't exactly think about. Like, you just think like, oh, okay, this is what they did. Now, okay, like they're done.
Right.
You don't think about that, how important, like it's literally it's what you wake up to, it's what you breathe, it's what you sleep, it's everything.
A lot of people too, they see athletes and they see them as like, they're not human beings anymore. They're like this other thing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, because the people that were all-stars when I was younger, they're still alive now. They still have lives. They're still moving on, and maybe we don't remember that. I probably do because I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
And I remember people like Ernest Wilford. I don't know. I'm throwing his name out there. That's so random. It's so random. I hope one or two people know who that is.
I definitely do. No, I definitely do.
With Matt Jones. They had some quality receivers then. I'll tell you what. Whoever drafted the Jaguars wide receivers in the mid-2000s, Shay, I'm telling you, man.
I'm listening.
They should be fired.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I know,
It was
right?
like a bad. I was like, oh yeah, I'm listening.
Not since Jimmy Smith, right?
Right, not since Jimmy Smith. Good old Jimmy Smith. I mean,
know,
bad,
right?
old, bad, good, bad.
Now, Shay, while I'm looking at it, we're going to be meeting with Q in about 12 minutes. So we have 12 minutes to talk, and there's something I wanted to talk about
I'm
from
listening.
2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
Listening.
We got the new intro and outros done, and I didn't know I didn't write what was in there. I just said, I want you to say where we're from, what the name is, kind of thing, and that we just do a weekly show. He gave me one from the beginning that was a lot.
Yeah.
I liked his enthusiasm.
Right, which is good. You're excited.
Yeah. But it wasn't what I was going for. It was a little like, it was a comedy podcast, but like, I don't want it to be like morning show wacky zany guy.
Yeah, okay.
And he literally called me the zany from Allegheny.
Okay.
Okay. And it's like,
Okay.
I love where you're coming from. And I know I'm asking, you don't know me, you don't know anything about it. I'm giving you this. Okay, cool.
Right.
I don't want to be known as the Zany from Allegheny.
Yeah, no.
The Z from A is not this guy.
The Z from A.
Yeah.
I don't know. That kind of is cool. It's the alphabet backwards.
Yeah, the
like A
omega to the alpha. I'm everything. Maybe the Zany from Allegheny has something.
The Z to the A.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, we hate it
All
now.
day.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, so he did the outro too, and I did want to edit something, and I forgot to tell him, but he says something about embarrassing yourself. What was it, Shay? Do you remember the direct quote? I can't. Try not to.
And we'll try not. Yeah, it's try not.
Tell
to
your friends, and we'll try not to embarrass. We can't
you.
promise we won't embarrass you or something like that.
I think that's it.
Dude, what do you mean? We're gonna embarrass you?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I mean, I don't know if he was like, it's because it's comedy, but he didn't have to assume that it was comedy against one another.
Or it could be bad comedy. We'll try not to embarrass you by you thinking that this is. Oh, you listen to that? Oh, okay. That's how I took it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The Sandy from Allegheny will not stand by this. He will not stand for this aggression. Will not stand, man.
I didn't think of it
I don't
like
have that drop. I need to get that, man.
Okay, so what?
Look at you. Your heart looks broken.
It does, because that's really sad.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
We'll try not to embarrass you because of how shitty you are, man.
Well, we do that every week for me.
No, I don't. I'm taking it. Well, I overthink things. Maybe we'll talk to Q about my mental health because I'm kind of a nutcase.
Honestly,
I had the biggest anxiety. I didn't have a full-on attack, but like the worst anxiety this week.
Yeah.
Because I had a missed phone call. I had a call from an unknown number, so I was like, "Fuck that."
So
And then I
didn't
immediately,
answer.
I don't know.
Okay, right.
First one, no, never.
Absolutely not, right?
Second one, they called me immediately back, so I was like, "Oh, this could be an emergency with something. Like maybe something happened to somebody, and they're calling me." So I pick it up, and they're like, "Jasmine," and I'm like, "This isn't Jasmine."
No Jasmine here.
And they're like, "Okay then," and then hung up, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So now I'm just like, "What's going on with Jasmine?
Yeah,
What's going on with Jasmine?"
sick.
Yeah, the whole time.
Hold on a second. You've had that number for a while though.
I didn't care that. I don't care about her life enough to speak to a stranger, man.
No, I'm just saying. Like, I just feel like
That would do much worse for my anxiety, man.
you've had this phone number for so long that if he's just now caring about Jasmine, you should just not care.
Maybe he hit the wrong number though. Like you could switch my last digit on my number, and it could be
Jasmine.
Yeah, it's not
Jasmine,
like everybody
if you're out there, somebody's very concerned.
Okay, yeah, Jasmine.
You find this person.
Yeah, keep your eye on the milk crates or whatever.
I hope she's
milk
okay.
cartons, not the crates, the cartons.
Yeah, the crates.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jasmine, I got that outro. I wanted to go over that. I also wanted to start with this. I will start with it 10 minutes in.
Yeah, let's start with it.
I wanted to start with it. My cousin just had a baby, so I'd like to welcome to the world Lucy Rose.
Lucy Rose.
Yes. The daughter of my cousin Caitlin and her husband Mark. So congratulations to them.
Yes,
she's a beautiful little girl. Yes, she looks just like Caitlin when she was younger.
Oh my goodness, that's a blessing. Good for them.
So.
Is this their first?
Yes.
That's so exciting.
I'm happy to have another little
Lucy
baby
Rose?
in the family. Yes.
That's a beautiful name.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Caitlin's middle name.
I love that. I was watching a bunch of TikToks on like babies, like newborns right now, and everybody keeps saying that the pandemic babies are way different. Like they're holding their heads up at like newborn, and they're like standing up on their own, like standing up, but like with support.
Okay.
Like I was watching this baby that's like a freaking baby standing up while leaning up against a bed. Like they're
what do you mean
like
a baby? Like weeks old?
I don't think
days
weeks old when they were standing up.
They're like 2 years old and
they were younger than that. And like the baby who was holding their head up was a newborn. Like they were still in the hospital. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that does seem weird.
I mean, like, are these babies like going to be?
Maybe they're cyborg babies.
That's what I mean. Like I wish that I
like...
could just reincarnate right now.
Okay, maybe you should.
So mental health.
Yeah, okay. I usually have stuff to say about pretty much anything you're going to bring up, but the whole cyborg baby thing where they're holding their heads up early, you got me on that one. That was. I
guess we'll see. You let us update us on Lucy Rose.
I will, and then
if she's like a like this powerful baby.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We'll keep our eye on that.
He's late.
Yeah, man. Shay,
It's fine.
Shay,
I'm really good at having conversations with myself.
I'm working on this Zoom thing.
There's like 2 people up
so
here.
So it's like half. I got you.
And I like converse with them.
You're talking. Oh, you know why you said that? I was talking to myself earlier, and I realized I started talking with my hands in my head. Like I'm talking.
Like you're talking with your hands, and you were talking in your head.
I'm talking to myself, but I'm like Italian talking to myself in my head.
How did you feel when you found out what you were doing?
I chuckled, but then I was like scared.
Oh my God. I was driving. I haven't told anybody this except for 2 people. I told 2 people this. I was driving one day and you always like talk to yourself and you go through things in your head and like so on and so forth. And then you're like, sometimes you're like, you have like that, where like the light bulb where you're like, oh yeah, that's it. Well, I was having a conversation with a whole different person up there and they answered something I had no idea about. Like there was like, I was thinking, I'm like, well, what is this? And then like the voice was like, well, it's this. And I was like, oh my God, is it? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Did you fact check it? Did you find out if you were
right?
right?
I didn't fact check and I don't even remember what it was about. I just remember being extremely freaked out that I'm like, why was there something that I didn't know that I knew? Like I knew it.
Maybe you didn't know it. Maybe I was like, what's the capital of Denmark? And I was like, Birmingham.
And I was like, I freaking knew it.
But it's not. It's not Birmingham, Denmark.
So like I was just like telling my other half something wrong. But I think it was something really stupid. I'm pretty sure I was talking about condiments.
Yeah.
Like hot dogs.
I know what condiments are, man.
I don't know.
Yeah. What's your favorite condiment?
Ooh.
You like something stupid, I bet.
Probably.
You like cotton candy mayonnaise.
Cotton candy mayonnaise. No, like? Chris. Nobody likes that.
Ketchup's the number one.
It's ketchup.
Heinz. Ketchup.
It's ketchup.
Chilled.
It's not
always.
ketchup.
Always chilled.
It's not ketchup. It's ketchup.
Nobody says that around here, right?
You just said ketchup.
I said ketchup. There's no way I said ketchup.
No, you said ketchup.
I've never said ketchup in my life.
You said ketchup.
No, I didn't. Okay, this is something we'll see because
live. So like,
you're saying that I said something I've never said in my life.
Literally, like it's probably like.
I hope ketchup. I'm wrong because of how passionate I am right now.
I hope you're wrong because I know who you are and you're never wrong.
But I'm just saying I know me, and if I said something that resembles ketchup. It was a you heard it wrong because I wouldn't say that.
No, I definitely heard it.
I would say ketchup.
No, you would.
Catsup?
No,
I definitely didn't say that.
You said ketchup.
Okay. God, Shay.
You said ketchup.
No one's listening to this anymore. Everybody that was on to listen to Q, it's turned off.
Oh, absolutely not. They're on and they're thinking, yeah, she's right.
Yeah, we'll see.
She's right. 100% right. I'm very excited to talk to the guest, though.
I am too.
I think that he's going to fill some voids of like what are you
doing? It's not like it's a therapist. I don't want to like set up this.
No, I meant like fill the voids of like what do you do after you
yeah. No, he's really passionate about it. He's really interesting. There were some videos on Instagram I saw that were
good.
The like I was saying, just when somebody's into something, you can like feel when they're faking it, when they're not. And he's passionate about it.
That's very true.
Shay, tell us about your week while I kill 3 minutes.
All right, let's see. My week was absolutely horrible. Everybody at the office experienced the same horridness, and it was awful. I don't understand why work was so bad. I think I cried 3 times. I had a horrible breakdown on Friday. It was really bad. This week was absolutely horrible for everyone in the office. And then I think I went out Friday night, and that was a drag. And then I actually did do things on Saturday, surprisingly. I was alive. And then I didn't get out of my bed one time on Sunday.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Only one time you didn't get out of your bed?
I didn't get out one time.
Oh, you stayed in the entire day?
Yeah, I didn't get out of bed one time.
Oh.
At all on Sunday.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, no. I've probably watched, within one day, 36 hours of TikTok.
Yeah. But you can't watch Forrest Gump.
No, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it.
Have you watched our newest YouTube video?
Obviously.
Did you?
Yeah. I always watch everything.
Yeah, but I just posted it like at 1 a.m.
But you sent it to me.
Yeah.
As soon as it was posted.
But it's an hour and 16 minutes long, so I didn't know that you had it.
Sometimes I do like okay, this is that part, because I like to watch it in the morning when I'm sitting in the car before I'm going to work, because I need some time to prep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. You have a long commute,
God, yeah.
right?
My commute's very long from where I live to where I work.
Yeah. That's what a commute is.
So like the drive from my house to my job whatever that's
Can you
called.
just reword that 3 more times?
Whatever
and
that
I'll
area,
make you one.
you know, like from like that distance, you know,
Perfect.
is
Have
long.
you done a Zoom meeting before on this show?
I have done Zoom meetings.
Cool. All right. You are the tech guy with the
On-
lights and with
I'm
everything.
thinking just hit start.
Yeah, how? Okay, but okay, dickhead. You know what, Shay? That's what I think too, but I didn't know if I'm like supposed to be the pre guy. Okay, well, we're gonna hit
Are
start.
we hitting start?
Baby.
What time is
I'm hitting
it?
start. I don't know, man. We're a minute early. Hello.
No, I mean that's fine. It's gonna take us
Yeah,
a minute.
yeah.
So like
Launch
we'll be
meeting.
like literally on time.
We'll see if it's going.
Well, it's going.
Showing computer with audio.
Do we want to do audio or the microphone? Like I just don't know which one we should be doing.
Test speaker. Hello. Hey, yes. There we go.
Oh, is that us?
Hey, everybody. We all get to join and
I-
test. Everybody.
I just feel like we got 3 cameras right now, and I'm pretty excited about
Good.
it.
Well, there we go.
I thought for a second he was putting me on
So
his laptop camera.
he could be joining us at any moment now. So if somebody joins, we know that Q is here.
at any moment.
I think when we ask him questions, we should call it Q and A. Get it? Like questions and answers.
That is clever.
Thank you, Shay.
Yeah, but you're gonna do all the questions. And I'm
Q and
just gonna
Shay. Oh my God!
go, put it on a hat.
Put it on a hat. Put it on a white block.
Put it on a white block. It's my favorite thing to say. Honestly, I'm so obsessed with saying it that sometimes when I'm in public, I like hear something funny. I'm like, oh my God, put that on a white block. But like, I don't say it out loud. Thank God, because people don't know what I mean.
All right, thank you. Q Williams is now on the line with us. Thank you, Q. I gave you a little bit of an introduction before, kind of a former two-sport Big Ten athlete. Everything that you see on his website is kind of what I found. Master's degree in sports management, founder of world-class leadership training, but kind of in your words, Q, can you tell us who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a seasoned athlete. I was lead athlete through the college levels, and I found a gap in sort of like the athlete transition roadmap, and I've been working for the last several years to really fill that gap with what I think are some awesome solutions that have really created some incredible impact for some former athletes that are used to a certain way of living, and transitioning into the real world can be a bit of a pain. So that's what I am. I focus mostly on supporting male former athletes because that's obviously my background.
Mm-hmm.
And I really see a lot of value in bringing guys together. So a lot of my programming brings guys back into the same room again, kind of like that locker room,
right,
and really creates that camaraderie that we all really crave.
I was telling Shay here, who's joining me.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, Shay.
I was telling her about how I was just watching your videos. Just there's a lot of enthusiasm and passion, and you can kind of tell when somebody's on there faking it, and you can tell that you're definitely into it. So, like, where did that come from, and how did you get started in this part of your life?
Yeah, man, it's so first off, it's a personal journey, and I think I have a lot of compassion for the people that sometimes I think there are a lot of different types of people on social media. I think some people are on there for the wrong reasons, and might be faking it. I think some people might look like they're faking it. Like, and quite honestly, for a while there, I looked like I was faking it. Like, I was new to it. You guys are probably familiar with this, having a podcast, like being the face and name of something is, and going live and putting your face on it can be a very like nervous thing.
Oh,
so
yes.
I've always like had, what I think are like the right interests at heart, that I really want to serve people, but my ego gets in the way constantly, so if I ever show up a little inauthentically, that would be why,
Oh no, I don't think so at all. I'm saying I feel like you don't like it at all.
Yeah. No, I heard that clear. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want you to think I had you on, and then let me start with insulting you.
I know you're not blasting me. No, we're clear. Absolutely.
Okay. I mumble a lot.
I just want to say that I've been there, you know? And I think that, owning a business and doing something new, I talk about this all the time, like starting fresh, being a beginner in something is very uncomfortable for someone who's been elite, and whatever that was for you. Like for me, it was sports, right? And going to a great university, but like trying out entrepreneurship is, it's weird, and I guess to get back to your question, like, why am I passionate about this and why did I even get into it, is because of my own lived experience. And so a lot of entrepreneurship is really kind of vetting your own experience and like, what got you to this place? What got you so passionate about it?
Yeah.
For me, it was, I got out of football and I learned about the concussion problem before a lot of people did back in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it was a problem. I knew that guys were taking their lives, and it was purportedly tied to this, degenerative brain disease called CTE. And no one really knew about it, and no one was really doing much to fix it. And I saw myself as one of those people in the population. I saw some guys take their lives that I played with, actually,
Right.
In the state of Pennsylvania. And,
wow.
it was, I was just like, I'm the kind of guy that, like, when I find a cause and something I'm passionate about, I'm going to go after it. And so I just immediately I just gravitated towards the topic. And I didn't know how I was going to solve the problem or how I was going to support people. But it slowly but surely transitioned into finding some support for myself, actually. I went through post-concussion syndrome, which has a lot of the same symptoms as CTE, or like the early stages. And so that was a really confusing time for me, like trying to put together like what is what and what's causing what,
right.
what's just a regular emotion screaming at me, or what's like true anxiety, true anger, or true sadness. And like what's the source of that? So I started putting together resources for myself, and in that I was able to develop a whole line of resources for guys like me. So it's been a personal journey. I obviously have people around me that have been affected by it. I've been affected by it. And I mean, I don't think I didn't cultivate this passion. I really stumbled on it. And
right.
I built that. I think we're meaning-making machines. We create our own purpose in this life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, not concussion related, but I have mental issues. I've had like bipolar. Not that I have. I still have bipolar. I have bad anxiety sometimes, depression issues and stuff like that. And I know for me, one thing that is frustrating is like, is it the problem? Is it the brain thing, or am I being reasonable? Am I questioning it too much? What am I doing? Am I being angry? Do I have the right to be angry, or is it something? A chemical imbalance? Is because of whatever? And then you question that, and then you kind of question a lot of things that you do. Am I doing the right thing? And just that uncertainty kind of puts doubt in your head, obviously, and it's hard to deal with that. It's just another thing on top of everything else you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So totally, yeah. I mean, like that's a lot of mental energy to be going back and forth with, like, as a simple example, like I forgot my keys, or I'm angry at this person, like. And you're thinking about that like over and over, like, was that because of this, or is that because I'm just a normal person? Where I get angry and that was actually offensive, that something said to me. Right. So that takes a lot of mental energy. And I don't discount that, man. That's some serious stuff. But I think I'd love to get your perspective on this. I feel like, having a black or white, take on things, like feeling like we can come down to the source or the one thing. It's kind of like super common for people to want to like find the root cause. But I don't see the body or the mind really like that. I see it as like an ecosystem that if a couple of things are a little off, like they're going to impact other areas of your life. They're going to impact other functions of your brain and your chemistry. And, it's never really one thing. Yeah. Like, even if you're just mad about something, it's never really just one thing. There's probably a lot going on. So a lot of, I'd love to hear your perspective and what you've dove into that's helped you. But for me, the biggest thing has been kind of emotional awareness and like narrowing down that anger, for instance, and saying like, okay, well, actually anger is just a defense mechanism. It's put in our bodies for us to defend ourselves. So like protect things. So is my ego trying to be protected right now? Am I literally trying to protect like something that's valuable to me? Like why is anger coming up?
Right.
Because it's really just a protective measure. If it's coming up outside of protective measures, then it's probably hiding some other emotion. Right. It could be anxiety. It could be guilt. It could be some sort of shame.
I've realized that a lot with me, especially recently. And if I'm doing this show, like even just doing this show, this thing that I like doing this. I like talking to people. I love doing this. But just knowing I have to do it. I have to do it at this time. I have to do this, and then it's all on me. And maybe it's not, but I put it all on me. And then I make it into this whole thing.
Yeah.
But I get anxiety, and then it comes out as anger or whatever. And then like Once I realize that's what it is, I can cool it, and I'm like, okay, that you're anxious about this, calm down. There, you're taking it out on other people. But I have good people around me that know what it is, and I'm working on it. But like, you have to really kind of know yourself. But when you do have some things going on, you can't always realize you're not yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I want to ask you a question in a minute, Shay, but like, Chris, what do you do to kind of like notice it? Like, do you have any tricks that you use or
To notice when I'm dealing with anxiety?
Yeah.
I have real bad in my stomach. Like I can physically feel it, and then I pace around. I need to say if I'm running late to work or something, it's all I think about. And then I have to do this and do this and do this and then do the next thing. And then even if I do it and satiate it, then it's what's next.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So you can feel it in your stomach, I think, which is interesting.
Oh yeah. That's usually where I feel it first.
Does it feel, I'm curious, like, does it ever feel
It feels like I'm
different?
hungry or like I'm nauseous almost.
Oh yeah. I can relate. Yeah.
Okay.
Does it feel, does it feel different if like it's hiding anger or like there's something else there, like
I think
under the anxiety?
I think it's mostly anxiety just because I feel the anxiety is caused because I need to be at this place on time and do that because I said I was going to, or because of whatever. And if I do that, then I'm not saying what I did, and then that will bother me. And the whole anxiety is because I want it to be right. Like I need to please what I said. I said I was going to do this, so I have to appease that. But it's also following through with your word. So it's like I want to please, but I also want to stand by what I said. And then that causes a lot of anxiety. So that would be like the main cause of that. And then I would lash out in anger because I was angry because, like you said, I couldn't find my keys.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm curious for you. Is it Shay?
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Shay. What about you? Like, have you ever, I don't know, worked through this sort of thing?
Yeah, so I do suffer from several mental illnesses, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. But I have chosen, maybe incorrectly, to self-medicate, not necessarily self-medicate with, things as I just do it in the sense of, I think that I have a control over it. And when I think my control over it is more goes on the line of I can kind of recognize it and why it's what's happening, not necessarily why, but that it is happening. And I think that one of my biggest things that I'm not able to control yet is the bipolar disorder. That one's a big one. I can't control the moods, but I can't control the feeling of I'm in a mood right now. I'm either really angry or I'm really anxious. It's never like I'm in a good like hyper mood. It's always I'm very anxious right now or I'm very angry right now and I don't know why. And then I take it out on somebody and then I get extremely angry with myself for taking it out on that person when I know that I should not have. So like the people that I always take it out on is like somebody like my mom. So I'll take things out on her and then I feel like crap because I did, but then I turn that bad, like I should be sad, into more anger. And I'm like, nope. Now I'm just extremely angry. Like now I'm more angry because I couldn't help being angry. I don't know why I'm angry and I'm being mean. So now I'm more angry. It's kind of like an embarrassment thing. Like now I'm embarrassed that I was rude.
Like a snowball.
Yeah. But now I'm mad because I'm embarrassed and now I can't do it. So like whenever Chris was saying how he can sense when it's coming and he can recognize it and then like you said, I can calm down. I think that's extremely huge for people that can do things like that, to notice it, to recognize it, and to control it. I think that's a huge thing for people with mental illnesses, whether you're medicating or you're not. Because I know that's something that I wish that I could definitely do, is to like take that switch and flip it, because I can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky, and I also want to like be super clear just for people listening on the podcast that I'm not a mental health, like I'm not a counselor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm a coach. I use my experience and also the training that I've been given around emotional intelligence and leadership to, support people and mostly coming to their own conclusions. And a question that I mean, like, So I often ask questions, but I also have this really cool formula that I think really helps people just connect, in a really powerful way. I borrow it from Everyman and their principles. It's a men's group organization, and it's called the Rock formula. It's relax, open up, and connect. So like relaxing, I feel like when I have something going on, like I'm feeling anxiety or I'm feeling anger, which we mentioned before, that's usually kind of covering something else up typically, unless we're in a very protective mode. Um, when I'm experiencing that, I have to slow down enough to actually really open up to it, which is a second step, like, so, we're always busy, right? Like you guys are fitting a lot into your schedules to be doing this podcast and giving like that, and, how do you also fit in that pause so you can even open up to the experience? And then the cool, like, I love the third step. I think it's so powerful when we share, like you guys just did. Like you're obviously open about what you deal with. You're open about the anxiety that you have sometimes coming to this podcast. Like, do you all? I know we didn't really have like much of a direction for the talk today, but like, do you guys? I'm curious. Like,
that's how we usually do it.
Yes, that's how we do this.
Yeah. So I like having the person on. I'll give some background. So I did give some background on you before you came on, and then I let you kind of explain who you are, and then we go from there. And I think people listening get more out of kind of just having a conversation with somebody and just talking to them like they would talk to them.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think it's more personable. It means a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it more.
But I do have some other questions for you with everything that you're doing with concussions. I mean, are you staying up on the game? Or are you still? I mean, I would assume if you're coaching, coaching athletes around the game, how are the helmet standards and how are the calls in the NFL, NCAA, high school, Pee Wee, every level? Because it's not like it's not like the big hits start in the pros, Yeah.
It's, the concussion topic is an interesting one. I don't advise people that are currently playing. I don't really work much with them, and I definitely don't advise on their concussion protocols because that's usually standardized.
Yeah.
But I am an advocate for transparency of information. So like some of the things I like to talk about are like, for instance, if a helmet claims to be concussion proof, it's impossible. That there's no helmet. Helmets are designed to, yes, like slow down the brain from like kind of jiggling inside of your skull, but there's no padding that goes in between your skull and your brain.
Right.
And all you're doing is really, slowing the blow of that brain's impact. Right. But helmets are really there to like prevent skull fractures, in the first place. So, I don't think you'll ever take concussions out of such a combat sport like football.
Right.
And I think it's just a known risk at this point. And, growing up in Pittsburgh, it's hard to say this, but like, it would be hard to let my kid go and play, 7-year-old Pee Wee football right now, based on what I know and based on the coaching that's available and the standards that are currently implemented,
Right.
Everyone always says like the sport is safer than it's ever been. Well, that's always true. Every day that's true. Like it always gets safer. Like we're not out here trying to make it more dangerous for people.
The equipment and everything does definitely get safer every day, but the people playing the game are also getting bigger and faster. And like you said, it will slow down the hit, but it's not concussion proof. You're not going to ever have something you put on your head and you're immune to everything. Right. It's a hard-hitting combat sport with men that fly at each other with no abandon, and they go at it. And with, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, obviously, but there's no stopping. For people that aren't around the game or don't watch the game, you're flying. Like, these are world-class sprinters, some of them could be.
Right.
And they're giant men just flying at each other. How could you not leave with some kind of mental or any kind of injury?
Yeah.
And it's, I also think that, like we are right now, like the conversation gets centered around like the big hits, and that is important. And like one of the most important things is like, if you do notice any of the symptoms, which I think every athlete should know what the symptoms are, headache is one of them. Blurry vision is one of them. Seeing double is one of them. Nausea, any one or a few of these like classifies a concussion.
Right.
And when you get a concussion specifically, you got to come out of the game. You got to you have to address that. You have to get diagnosed. I actually had a concussion my senior year of college where I didn't get it diagnosed. It came back to bite me, which led to post-concussion syndrome, is what my doctors think. Because I was seeing double, and after a few minutes, I was like, oh, I feel fine. Never told anybody about it. And I think that's really what came back to haunt me. That aside, obviously, if you experience symptoms, get checked out. Take the precautions to rest, to come back to play, obviously. But also the science has shown that it's not so much connected to concussions. It's more related to the amount of exposure you've had, like the number of years that you've played and at what level. Yeah. And so it's mostly the subconcussive hits. It's the repetitive little ones where, Chris, you played every time you hit somebody, it's like, especially if it's head to head, just a little bit, you get a jar, like the lights kind of go out for a tenth of a second, and that's kind of you closing your eyes, but then there's kind of this, it's like that hurt, that jarred my brain. I'm not hands down. Right. And those little ones, those little shakes, add up. Just like if you hit a massive boulder, a big rock, if you pound that thing enough times, eventually that will crack. And so you are making little minuscule cracks every time, you injure your brain and you hit your brain against something. So another thing that I really am a big proponent of is how can you take care of your brain long-term? Knowing what you've put yourself through, like me, what can you do to take care of, your body's natural way of healing itself? Now, I believe in going and seeing a doctor, and there are some incredible clinics out there, like UPMC has an incredible one. The Dr. Amen, Daniel Amen, he has the Amen clinics. They're world class on this stuff. And there's all types of imaging you can get done on what parts of the brains are kind of working really well and which ones are a little bit, behind. I have a whole list of those resources. And I also believe in our body's innate ability to heal, as long as we're fueling it with the nutrients in nature, the lifestyles that are healthy. We have human connection. We're following our dreams. We're doing things that light us up. Yeah. All of those things go into human health and the brain especially. So I mostly focus on that. What are you doing to set yourself up for success long-term versus how can we prevent this, so to speak? It is preventative, what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
It's preventing CTE, but I can't go back and change the concussions you had or the little hits,
And that's one thing. A lot of people are watching, they see the big hits from, the strong safety taking out the slot receiver crossing the middle, but they don't see the interior lineman getting hit every day at practice. Yeah. Every day, multiple practices a day. And, if you're doing a camp, if you're doing this, and then the more you play, the bigger it gets. It's a year-round thing. It's, it's an everyday thing, and it's a culture. Q, do you see that it's a culture that's opening up more to athletes admitting when they think that they have concussion symptoms, or is it still kind of something that some people kind of hide, a fear of being pulled out? I mean, for some people on the cusp of being cut, maybe they don't say something, afraid of that. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, well, an interesting statistic is, first off, reported concussions. Women, Shay, you might find this stat interesting. Women tend to there are more reported concussions among women, and so the incidence is up, but that's based on reporting. Right. So just like you're talking about, Chris, people might get concussions, especially guys and girls, right? And they might not report it. They might not even realize what's going on, right? Guys play football. that's a really, really high intensity sport. And I think if I was playing another sport such as baseball or soccer, I would have a little bit more wherewithal. I would be slowed down enough to maybe one, check myself and realize maybe I have a concussion. I should get that checked out. But second off, I think guys have this macho thing to them, and we don't want to report a concussion. We don't want to come out of the game. That's kind of it's our ego, and that comes back to like, in my opinion, I think it comes back to like kind of like our ancient primordial days when like, it's kind of bred into us really, like genetically, like we just want to be barbaric. We want to be at war. We want to protect things that we love. And that's the masculine way. Not saying that women don't have that. But I think that, women just are currently reporting more concussions. And I personally wonder whether that's more of a sociological effect than it is a physiological thing.
Right.
That women just get concussions more often. I don't think that's really the case.
No.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Just my hunch is that I like what you were saying. It's a macho thing. I think my peers might look down on me if I admit to this.
Right.
Plus, it's like, it's almost an invisible injury. If I have a compound fracture, you can't argue that. You look at me. I mean, you don't see that. I'm not bleeding out of my ear. So then you don't see it, so it doesn't look like it is. And plus, if you're playing football or whatever, and you watch it, and you watch NFL films and stuff, you grow up idolizing these guys who get hurt, and they're like, he broke his arm and came back in the game, and then like that's what you're taught, and like that's what you idolize, and then you're putting yourself at risk. And you don't realize.
It's also worth saying, I think that women don't have the same like access to professional sports. They don't get paid nearly as much. There's just less incentive for women to really go after those sports and climb that ladder. So I think that there's more life, I think, at stake for women compared to men.
Q, this time of the year, there's with the Olympics around, there's these people training their entire lives for this. It could be, handful of runs. And then when they get their shot and they're done, they could be done. And there's not the NFL and college people. Maybe you can get a job as an analyst or a coach or something. But some of these people, maybe when they're done, that's what they are. Do you have people like that who do track and field, who go out for these events, and then when they're done, they, might seek somebody like you?
Oh yeah. Well, so the first thing is like, most people don't know that someone like me even exists. A lot like, there was probably a sports psychologist on staff, like when I was playing, but I didn't know that they existed. I didn't know that the psychological services at the university really was there. Like I knew that they were there. I won't lie. But it wasn't talked about. It wasn't really accepted. And I think the same goes for like a coach for like what you're going to do after sport and how you're going to operate. I don't think people really know, but to your point around, the Olympics, I mean, there's a really powerful documentary called The Weight of Gold that comes to mind that was really, really interesting about the depression that a lot of Olympians face, after the Olympics.
Right.
When it's like, you're right, like everything's hinging on those 4 years, and all 4 years are hinging on that one moment, that one chance, and then you take 4 years off. We're just going to go and hang out, right? And the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys are real. And I have worked with I've worked with one former Paralympian, and she I can't speak to her name, but like that is like very. There's also this like, what do I do in my free time? Like, because Olympians don't really get paid much, unless you're of course playing basketball in the Olympics. So there's like barely a stipend. These guys and gals are like barely making any money. They're having to have other jobs outside of the Olympics, outside of training. So it's kind of like being a student athlete again, where you're full-time in school and you're full-time training. And, it's a tough choice for them every year, I think. Really, like, do they want to go back after it? Do they want to keep doing this? And is it really worth it? Can I come back next year stronger? And then 4 years from now, am I going to be at my peak, or is there going to be someone that just came into the ranks, at age 18, that's going to be better than me, right? There's just so many questions that go through those folks' minds that I don't think the rest of sports can relate to in some ways.
Right. Yeah.
I would never be. I couldn't. Just thinking about the thoughts that they have and the obstacles and stuff. Somebody,
a world-class athlete that's doing that, that's living that, and then it's done. That would be like losing a limb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
You're exactly right.
It's just, I don't know how you. I mean,
I couldn't do it.
Well, yeah, I can't even imagine being that good at anything to do
no,
that.
100%,
But yeah,
I agree.
Once I was there, I wouldn't even know where to go from there. Q, is there anything else you'd like to tell us? Thank you for taking the time. I'm gonna put all your stuff on there. I'm not kicking you off, but I did to give you an idea, so I don't know if you have other things to do. I know you're busy with stuff, so please, if you'd like to stay on, feel free.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I actually have one caveat one just kind of layer to add to what you were saying. Like, what would you do if you lost your chance, or if things were over, if say you get injured, right?
Right.
And there are some nonprofits that are really powerful that do a lot of research on what it's like to be sidelined as an athlete and have your career, quote unquote, taken from you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forget what I was going to say. Like, I think that component of like, what do you prepare? Like, how are you preparing for life after while you're playing?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the really hard things is like, because again, you're balancing your time. Same way we open up this conversation, right? Like, you're balancing your time. How do you prioritize your personal life and your athletic life? When you know that you could be in there doing some more reps, you could do some more film work, you could do more of this. Are you going to choose to go interview for that internship, for instance? Are you going to go, and work on your resume? Are you going to start preparing for the things that are inevitable in an athlete's profession, that eventually it becomes something else, And even that goes for the NFL. Like, the NFL stands for not for long. And the average career is 2 years. It might be 3 years at this point.
I think it's like 2.3 or something like that. I remember hearing it.
Yeah. It's short. And that does not get you, by the way, 2 years doesn't get you pension.
Right.
I think it's 3. So yeah, it's, I think that's one of the toughest things is like, I was always kind of the mind of like, I kind of knew what I wanted to do after sport. Like, I knew I wanted to probably go work for a startup or go eventually start my own business. And I was interested in tech, and, startups were so cool back in 2012, and they still are. But like, a lot of athletes hadn't figured that out. They didn't put the time in to intern. They didn't put the time in to explore things outside of sport. And that really hinders, I think, the personality development of that person, the well-roundedness, the makeup, the character of those people. And I really want to do something about that, that's a whole other can of worms, a whole other hole we could jump into. But like, I think we could also talk about like the access to those resources as well at certain schools and for certain individuals. There's a lot to be done in that realm.
And in your experience with this, are there schools that like once they're here and the kids are in, it's almost like turning them out? Like, I don't care what happens to them now. They did their time. Not to make it sound like there's like heartless, but it's kind of a business. Like, you're in, or if you're either producing for me or you're not. And that's kind of what's nice about sports is it's kind of a meritocracy. Like, the best are the best. You're not the quarterback of the Giants because you're my nephew.
Right.
You have to be good enough to be there.
Right. There's too many people watching for that to be the case. Right?
Yeah. Plus, he has no arm. He has no arm. But, yeah, he would. Yeah, just stupid. I don't even remember what I was going to say. Q, can
I
everybody?
Had a question there, but I'm forgetting what it was. But what were you going to say, Shay?
Oh no, I wasn't.
I was going to ask you. Is this something? Now, you're based in San Diego, correct? Yeah. Or is this something you can do anywhere? I mean, we're talking to you on Zoom. One good thing maybe about COVID is that we realized how accessible we are to each other across the country. if you're coaching somebody like this and it's a mental support or whatever it is, I mean, you can see me. I could stand in my room and do physical activity or mental, whatever it is. Is this something that you can do across the country, helping people wherever? Good.
Yeah, totally. And actually, I remember what your question was, Chris, by the way.
I don't.
It was like, are certain schools
yes.
more apt to care about their,
Versus churning them out,
student athletes, like long-term health and success. So I feel very grateful that I went to Northwestern, very privileged, in fact, that there were resources that were quite honestly put in place for Black student athletes that I got to benefit from, such as a mentorship program that was put together at Northwestern to support athletes with networking with alumni, like a very dangerous program, actually. It was like very risky to put athletes in touch with alumni. That's kind of a no-no, but they were the first ones to do it. And there's also this thing called NU for Life, and it's now endowed fully by a big alumni. His name is David Kabiller. And NU for Life is for student athletes as it relates to their careers, to prepare them and to connect them in their careers with the best opportunities possible. So there's a full staff at Northwestern that's endowed for now forever. It's going to be there forever. It was started 10 years ago and it's now fully funded. So, but I don't know if that would really, I can't speak for Northwestern. I don't know if that would exist at many places if it wasn't for a really passionate alumni. That was, he was actually a tennis player at Northwestern, and he cares deeply about that athlete transition. Yeah. And he wanted to fund it. You don't get that everywhere. And Northwestern, I would say, just overall as a program, Coach Fitz was a player's coach. He was a player himself at Northwestern, and I mean, they do it the best that they possibly can within their control. And I am so grateful that I went there. And you don't get that everywhere else. You just flat out don't. Yeah. The horror stories I've heard at other schools are terrible. And it's not just because we're like an academically successful school and that we somehow care more about the individuals because they have an intellectual brain, for instance. Right. It's they really just do care about the whole human being. So that's my hat off to Northwestern. And to get to your second question, Chris, around virtual stuff. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Virtual. Yeah. Yes. Everything I do there right now is virtual. I have one client that I meet with once a week in person, but that's because he's based here in San Diego. It's opened up a lot of options for me and allowed me to access a lot of people. I taught a workshop at Northwestern recently. I've taught workshops at Central. Yeah. I love being able to access people through the screen. As I'm also really excited to do some in-person stuff. I'll be doing that at Central and eventually Northwestern too.
That's awesome.
That's my big vision, is to do more in person. I won't call them lectures because I talk half the time and then I try to really engage people. I want them to experience the stuff.
Are you trying to go to our the football camps or something, or kind of talk? Because I know in the beginning of training camps and stuff, they bring people in to kind of motivate people sometimes, or maybe just have you around to give you athletes the option. Maybe if you'd like a mental side. This guy's been here before. He knows what he's talking about. He's played big time sports.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I do a little bit of both. I do team programming, right? And if someone wanted me to come and do that, I would absolutely go and give a talk at camp, for instance. Right. But most of my work is like one-on-one and group programming that I put on for former athletes once they've retired. Right. So I do a little bit of both. Yeah. But my main focus is really the former athletes.
Well, that's awesome. It seems like you're doing great work. Like I said, I'll put all your stuff there. I have one more question for you before you go, Q. Yeah. When I was doing some research to show Shay, who was, who the guest was going to be on, there is a video on YouTube of you scoring a touchdown that is on a loop for an hour. Have you seen this? And did you make that?
I did not make that.
It's a hell of a play, I'll tell you what.
I know.
The smile on his face when you said that was priceless.
It's probably going on off the screen. He has it just on a loop.
It's playing in the background right now.
It's constantly. He can't sleep
I
without
have
it.
it on the ceiling in my bedroom.
Just
Me and my
like
girlfriend watch it every night before we go to bed.
That's awesome. But no, it was a hell of a play. But I'm so happy you did join us. Thank you so much, Q. It was great to talk to you. Great to hear all about what you
Absolutely.
do. And you're doing great stuff.
Yes.
It's a positive thing you're doing. I'm happy to have you on. I'm happy to get your message out there. So anything else that we can do, if you're ever in Pittsburgh again, let us know and we'll be able to glad to, give your information out where we can find you. So thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris and Shay. It's been tremendous. And by the way, one thing that folks that are listening that are former athletes, one way to kind of just like get more of me would be there's a free quiz that I put together. If you're interested in kind of learning the dynamics of your personality on the field or on the court and how that translates to your life after and how to be really set up for success, I have this thing called the Life After Athlete Archetype Quiz. So jump onto my website. It's q-williams.com/quiz. And you can drop that in the show notes. I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, if you email that, I will post it all up there. We'll get all your stuff up there and make sure everybody makes it very easy to find you.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Definitely.
Yeah, get you some free value.
There we go.
that'll provide some support. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And thank you both for having me on.
Oh,
And thank you, Q. You know what? For just following through and being here. Because I'll tell you what, just finding guests that can just commit to being on time it's great for me. So thank you very much.
Q is definitely, I have to say, I love all of our guests, but Q, you have definitely are my favorite guest on the show.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
Yes. Definitely,
Shay.
definitely.
Wow.
This was
There you go.
this was very nice, very informative. I think what you're doing is fantastic. I think protecting people's mental states and mental health is extremely important in all states. So I think what you're doing is phenomenal, and you're doing a really, really good job, like Chris said. So definitely my favorite guest to everybody else that's been on here.
Now that's going to go on a plaque on my wall.
There you go.
For sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
so
much.
Yeah. Have an awesome night.
You too.
Waved awkwardly.
I know. I seen it. You're embarrassing me.
Oh my god.
Don't embarrass
Q's
me.
the best. Let me get this out of here. Hell yeah. Good. It's still recording. It's still recording. Thank God.
Oh
my God. That is such a relief that worked. And he felt, I didn't question whether he
No.
would. I questioned whether Zoom would, and I was competent enough.
You're always competent enough.
No.
Don't say that.
Ugh.
Don't say that. You 100% are. He really, really is very passionate. That it was just to like hear how he speaks on things and like the questions that he asks and the answers that he has for the questions was honestly
And yeah,
amazing.
I think he's gonna send me over because I didn't know if I could record the computer and stuff. He said he was gonna send me some video over, so I'll try to edit all that and get that up. But we'll have the audio on tonight, obviously.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think
the hell was I
that
gonna
was
say?
good. You were talking about how incompetent you are.
No, I was just saying something about his video. But we have Sports Guy JP coming up. I got to get him on the line. Shay,
Yes, sir.
you want to kill some more time for me real fast?
Absolutely. So I'm going to be going on a hike on Friday.
Oh, wow.
I'm very excited for it. Never been outside before. So I'm probably going to die. I won't be on here next Monday.
Perfect. Maybe Q can fill in.
No, if Q's on here instead of me, I'll be so sad because I want to be here at the same time.
You guys are going to start the whole Q and Shay podcast. And
Honestly?
it's gonna be, I'm going to be disappointed.
No, you're going to be on it. You'll be
I'll
our
be a
guest.
Be a guest, be my guest. I don't know how the words go.
Put it on a white
Sports
block.
Guy JP, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, you all right?
Ear check.
Doing great.
All right. Sports Guy JP, we just got off the line with former Northwestern star football player Q Williams, former Central Catholic grade as well. So
Oh, local guy.
local guy, yeah, he was a stud. He was a stud in high school and in college. Dude. He played baseball and football at Northwestern.
Big Ten legend.
That's right. That's not no slouch school. He's a smart guy too. JP, how'd you go last week?
Last week, 2-2. I hit both NBA, missed both NHL, but then again, like I said, I don't like to bet hockey in the first place. I like to bet football, basketball. So
I was gonna give you that credit. You told me that from the beginning. You don't like to bet hockey, and you definitely told me that you know basketball better, which seems strange because you seem to like hockey more. Is basketball just easier to bet for people?
I think basketball is easier. It's a very star-driven league,
Yeah.
so you take the best guy on the court, or generally, it's also a lot of the teams to bet against more so than the teams to bet for. I think in the NBA.
So JP, who do we have this week for your picks?
So this week we're down to the Stanley Cup, Lightning and Canadians.
Now this is unique because they're both traditionally in the East, correct?
Yeah, they're coming from the same conference because of COVID. They had the division-only play. Canada had their own division, which was separate from the East. And now they're playing in a Stanley Cup, which is traditionally never going to happen again.
Good. Hopefully the Canadians never get there again either. That I feel like the NHL just changed it for they were like, let's see how many we can get the. If we do it this way, we have a 1 in 4 chance of getting somebody to the finals.
Yeah,
from Canada.
I feel like in a normal season, there's a chance they don't even make the postseason. I mean, they have such an easy schedule. Vegas was their first competition, and they played them much better than I thought, honestly.
Yeah. If you and hockey playoffs too, they're a different animal. So once you get in there, and you could have a hot goalie, and it could change everything, or a not hot goalie.
100%. I like Tampa Bay to take it though. Their size difference.
Is this your bet for the entire series, or just for this game coming up?
For the entire series, I would take Tampa Bay. I'm gonna go a little bold here and say Tampa wins in 5.
Tampa in 5. Now, are there sites that you could bet right now that bet? I know we normally do per game bet, so we usually do the points and money line or whatever. Are there places you can get action just to say, I take Tampa in 5 right now?
You could. So FanDuel, I know, offers every variation. So you could take, any scenario. So Montreal in 4, even. Montreal in 7.
Yeah.
And then that's very specific, very difficult to hit. So I wouldn't ever fire in on that. If we can do a game by game, I think I would just play it safe and take Tampa Bay money line each game so far. Now, 2 days from now, I may change. If Montreal comes out and wins by 4 tonight, I may change my opinion. But as of today, I think the safest thing is Tampa Bay, regardless of the points going forward.
And just take a money line.
Yeah, their size is better. Their speed, I think, is better. Montreal's a very young team, too. I think they have 3 guys on their team who are 21 or younger.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Eric Stahl on line 4 center, though. So.
Has Eric Stahl won a cup? Did he win with Carolina?
Yeah, I believe he won with Carolina. Yeah, they're line 4. They got him and Corey Perry, 2 guys I didn't even know were on Montreal.
Oh, wow. The All-NHL 2011 team.
And then I would take Kucherov's my pick for Conn Smythe if there's anything available. But
do they have those for the Super Bowl? They have all those prop bets where it's like the halftime show, the duration, or how long the national anthem is, or if they're gonna have the smoke coming out of the jet. Do they do that with Stanley Cup playoff games? I think they did that when the Pens played the Red Wings. If they were gonna do the squid on the ice or the octopus or whatever. Do you remember that?
I do. I forgot they used to do that. I mean, I guess that tradition hasn't lasted.
I don't think the Red Wings have been good since then.
I don't. Is Detroit even have any connections to squid in any way? I didn't understand.
I think they had it because you used to need to win. You need to win 8 games to win the cup, and an octopus has 8 tentacles. So I think it was like an old, when there were 6 teams, folky, we'll bring an octopus because you have to win 8 games and 8 and 8. And I think that's where that started, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's weird. I feel like that's kind of like getting a squid there in the first place. Like, why are you finding it and getting it there? Too much work.
I think it's an octopus, just to be clear, because the squid would have 6 tentacles.
Okay.
So
you're
speaking,
I'm backtracking on everything.
Okay, yeah. Now it makes sense. It was an issue with the 6 versus 8. Why would you do that? Like an ant versus an I was gonna say ant versus an octopus, ant versus spider. All right, this is a good sports talk. JP, next, what do you have for the NBA?
NBA. So we're down to we have a potentially elimination game today between the Suns and the Clippers. Suns are up 3-1. Today, even with Kawhi Leonard out, these games have all been close. Clippers are a +7 today. I know they're going on the road for the first time with Chris Paul returning. I still like the Clippers with the points tonight.
There's no way the Suns lose this game, is there?
I feel like the Suns will win, but I like the 7 points.
Aren't the Suns much better at home? I thought I heard that.
Yeah, Suns are better at home, but Clippers, I think, have been successful on the road as well.
Oh, really? So Clippers are getting 7?
Yeah, so let me take them in the points. The last game was very low scoring. Suns struggled to even put a basket in the hoop down the shot. I think they were like over 3 minutes, maybe 3.5, where no team even scored. It was
JP. Let me see if Chase still has a pulse real quick.
I'm
Okay,
here.
she's here. All right, JP, and what do you have out east?
East. Bucks and Hawks. So right now they have it set at Bucks -7, and I believe that's because Trae Young is still listed as questionable for a bone bruise in his foot. He actually injured it by stepping on an official by accident.
Oh, wow.
So can you imagine being that official in Atlanta right now? Yeah.
I would never be an official anyway. Like, there's no win situation being a ref. There's no game ever where they're like, you know what? That game was called great. That was an expertly called officiated game. Everything went well. That's never happened ever.
They're catching heat up in the Phoenix LA series because in game 2 there was a ball that went out on the Suns because like someone on the Clippers misdirected the ball by hitting it, but technically went off the Suns guy last as he tried to like regain possession. So they called that ball out on Phoenix, and then happened again in game 4, but they reversed it. I guess like they different officiating crew, they reassessed the rule and it was like, that was kind of stupid.
Oh, so it was essentially the same play, and they called it different.
Refs blew the game for us.
Yeah. All right. So JP, what's the call? Hawks Bucks.
Okay, so here's the deal. If Trae Young's out, take the Bucks easily. They're much more experienced and bigger. Trae Young game 1. So the Hawks won by 3 points in game 1 with Trae Young going for 48 points and 11 assists. And they barely.
So he needs to start doing more.
What was that?
So he needs to start doing more.
Right, absolutely. Game 2, when they held him into check and held him to 15 points, Bucks won by 34 points.
Oh, wow. Holy shit. Oh, my God.
Then they won
That's
on the road.
huge for a playoff game. That's huge for any game, but it's huge for an Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, exactly. And Bucks also took game 3 by double digits with Young going for 35 points. So, and that's on the road.
So it's looking like a Suns Bucks championship.
Yeah, if Young's out, definitely take the Bucks -7.
I love that the Lakers aren't there. I love that the Nets aren't there.
I love it. It's a good guy like Chris Paul and Giannis, 2 of my favorites. Good guys deserve to be there and don't form these super teams.
Yeah, I'd like to see either of them, or even the Hawks. The Clippers aren't. I don't want to see the Clippers. I like Kawhi and I like Paul George, but I don't. I'd like to see one of those teams win. I don't like that. I don't know. I'm that old guy.
Since the super teams, it's always been a team. It's always been a team with LeBron or a super team since Dallas won with Dirk back in like 2011, I believe it was.
Jason Terry.
Yeah, that Jason Kidd, all them.
Was Jason Kidd on that team?
Yeah, Kidd was there. He just got the head coaching job to the Mavericks too.
Oh yeah.
And Chauncey Billups got the Blazers head coaching job too.
Chauncey Billups. That Pistons team was good when they had Rip Hamilton and Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, solid squad. They or what was I gonna say too?
Hey, Sean Prince.
Hawks too as well. They haven't had, other than Young.
Nice.
One guy in one game has gone over 20 in this series so far in 3 games. So there's no offense anywhere.
And JP, are these the only one? Are these the only games out right now, other than baseball, which nobody wants to watch?
Yeah. So there's that baseball. I'm sure they'll be betting on the Olympics when that'll
be awesome. That would be interesting. Betting on the Olympics would be interesting to me, especially for the obscure thing. I bet for the degenerate gambler, the Olympics are like, I was gonna say like the Super Bowl because like that, but you know, I bet there's some great bets in Olympics.
I agree.
Thank you.
Could you imagine being the best in your country at something, and all of a sudden you're like a plus $4,000 at something? It's like
I live it every day.
Now all of a sudden, like you're the underdog. It's like you're clearly the 8th best person at this, and like no one has any faith in you.
Yeah.
And
Chris
back
lives
in your
it
own
every day.
country, you're just like beating everyone.
Yeah. We were just talking about the Olympics with Q, so a good Olympic show. Maybe we'll do a combined Olympic show with.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
collab.
producer Jess is all about the Olympics now. I think she's watching the Olympic trials as we speak. Mm-hmm. She's all about Simone Biles, who apparently fell off the thing whatever, the pole. What's the balance beam? What's the thing you balance on? What's the beam you balance on?
That was a hard word to remember.
Yeah. Well, you didn't help, did you, Shay? I guess she fell off.
I was just letting you do your thing,
Thank you, Shay.
Giving you a chance.
I don't like the Olympics. Now, I know it's the best athletes in the world, but it's like boring. There's not a single event that I
It's
find
like the best athletes in the world doing things you don't care about.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like watching, like, if it was like, what was it, high school Q or what's that? Like
high
high
school
students. Yeah, it's like, they're awesome at science and all this, but I just don't care.
Yeah.
Right, like diving, to me, it's awesome what they do. I just don't care to watch.
Yeah, I could never do it. You're a world class athlete. I don't care.
Like
at
gymnastics, like the U.S. team's always awesome. I don't know how it's scored.
Well, there's certain things that are good to watch. Like beach volleyball is always good. Back when in the Rogers Dahlhauser days, and then the Missy May trainer, Kerry Walsh, right? Or is it Kerry Walsh trainer?
And the other Todd Rogers.
Trainer.
He was the other one, I think.
And who? Todd Rogers.
Todd Rogers was the other one, right?
Phil Dahlhauser.
Phil Dahlhauser, and his partner was Todd Rogers.
Yeah.
Was that his name?
Yeah,
okay. Actually,
Professor.
I like watching the swimming. I don't know anybody and I don't know anything about it, but I enjoy watching that.
Yeah, some of the Olympics have some things that are good, like sprint in the 100 meter is always great.
Oh my God, those people fly.
Yeah, so that one's always good. I mean,
agree.
like I like Olympic hockey when that's on.
Don't watch that.
Yeah, no,
don't watch that.
Is this the Summer Olympics or the winter? If they're doing gymnastics, it's winter, right? Is this a winter Olympics?
I don't know why you would ask me.
I don't know.
This is the summer.
Or is it the summer? Do they do? I guess.
I would say summer.
I guess summer is that. Then why the hell? Jess was just watching sled hockey, so maybe she was watching an old thing. Because she's throwing me off. Because why would they do the Winter Olympics in the summer, Shay? God, I need to be off the show.
Honestly, I was rolling with it. I thought you were right.
Like the Olympics haven't been
Well, COVID has me all messed up. Because then I was like, did they skip it? When was it?
No, I agree. I don't think it was. I think it was. Actually, I don't think it was at all. I think
it was supposed to be last summer, which was 2020, which was...
I heard somewhere that they're letting the Tampa Bay Lightning win the cup because last year when they won in COVID, no one cared or remembered they won, so they're just letting them have their moment this year. They're just
0%. That would never happen ever. That's something your grandma would say. Ooh, for that. No, if you knew anything about anything, you would know that would never. That's not how it works. And it's not like they would do it for Tampa Bay. Maybe for New York.
Again, though, I don't think they've been exciting since when Tanya Harding had a hitman out on Nancy Kerrigan in '94. That was
back when sports mattered to people.
Yeah, jeez.
God, sports. Yeah, back when sports mattered.
These ice skaters are getting soft now.
There's hardly any hits out on other skaters anymore. It's a shame. It's an absolute travesty.
Can't believe it. I liked it when my feet.
I'm gonna have to put a warning that I don't mean that on the thing because people are all stupid.
Yeah, probably.
If you're out there, please do not put a hit on an Olympian. Please don't do that.
It was right around the time Biggie and Pac were dying too, so I wonder what was going on there in the '90s. I wonder if Harding was
Tanya Harding is a founding father.
Yeah,
she's the OG. Are you saying Tupac would still be alive if it wasn't for Tanya Harding?
Those are some serious words.
Okay, you heard it from JP the Sports Guy first. Tanya Harding killed Tupac from JP the Sports Guy. That's exactly how information gets spread right there around everywhere. And then you see that, and that's gonna be a meme that we see, and then it's gonna be Tom Hardy in black and white with a cigar and bourbon. And it's Tupac was killed by Tanya Harding, but I keep my friends close. That's a meme. That's already out there. I hate it.
I love it.
Didn't Kerrigan go on to win silver or something too?
I don't know.
It was nuts.
Number one in your heart.
It's like Kurt Angle winning his Olympic medal with a broken neck.
It's true. Oh, it's damn true.
True. Even though he sucks.
Yeah, he does.
Kurt Angle. Why are you anti-Kurt Angle, man? He's an Olympic hero.
No.
He has the three eyes. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. JP, you have anything else for us this week? You have sports news or not? Because we did kind of a sports show. So if you don't have anything, that's fine.
They are. Do you hear the update on college football playoff? They're expanding it.
No. Do tell us that then.
So I heard that heading into I don't think it's next season, but maybe the season after, they're looking to do a 12-team college football playoff where they would have 6 power conference. The division winners would get the first 6 seeds. So I think the top 4 seeds would get a bye. The the 5 and 6 seed would get a home game against, would be 11 and 12,
Okay,
and then
so
everyone
it
else
would-
would play.
Okay, yeah. So it would be
And
the
a
4
neutral
teams
site.
there, so it'd be 8, and then you'd eliminate those half, and then those 4 would play the next 4 probably to keep the bracket like that.
Yeah, like that. I'm sure it's for money and for more football, which is nice.
It would be like
I kinda
exactly
like
how
14
the NFL did their playoffs a year ago when they had 12 teams, because they used to have 6 AFC and 6 NFC. So they would have the 2 teams in each conference get a bye. So those would be the 4 winners. So it'd be essentially the same as that.
Yeah, and then NFL even changed their playoffs last year too. Which
Are they
You know,
keeping that, or is that like is that how this year's playoffs are going to be?
yeah, I believe so.
format?
They're still sticking with the 7. I guess just get an extra playoff game for money.
Yeah, I mean it gets more people into it. It keeps 2 more cities interested for another week.
It's better
Plus, it's
than
not
an
like
18
anyone's going
playoff,
to turn away
what
playoff football.
NHL and NBA have. I think 8's too much. That's more than half the conference. But 7, I feel like an 18 playoff per conference, that 1 seed's not as valuable. Whereas in NFL, they at least still get a bye week. So
Yeah. All right,
that's
JP.
competitive.
Well, thank you for coming on. Ed had got sick, I guess. He canceled on us. Oh, production crew coming in.
Production crew, always.
Well, JP, we know you're a busy guy, but thank you for taking the time. Let me just go over this one.
Maybe it was Egghead. He was actually hanging out with me.
Oh, wow. If Egghead came on during the call and just went over and found wherever Sports Guy JP was hit up, it is in his sports dungeon somewhere, and he found you. If he just came on that, I'd lost my mind. So, JP, before you leave, you have Tampa Bay money line, Clippers +7, and then Hawks or Bucks. Did you say?
I'm going to take the Bucks -7. They're the better team, and there's no offense going anywhere from Atlanta, and it's quite a series if you're saying that Chris Middleton and Brooks Lopez are the next best players on the court. Like they're better than everyone on Atlanta.
Yeah. Right. All right, JP.
Mid-tier.
Yeah. I will take your knowledge for it. I barely know NBA, and I definitely don't know depths on the Hawks or the Bucks. I know Trae Young, and I know Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Nice. Good
Well
job.
put. And that's
That was very good.
exactly how it's pronounced.
No, I believe
I'm
you.
just thinking about the payout. If you would have said before the year, though, Montreal just take the cup and the Suns to beat the Hawks in the finals. That all happened.
Is there a way to look back and see what the odds were? I'd love to know it.
I'm not sure if you could do that. That would be
We got to get Biff from Back to the Future, too.
right. He'd be the only one who could guess it.
JP, did I ever ask you your least favorite movie character? I think I've asked you a bunch. Do you ever give me an answer?
Favorite movie character.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who comes to mind first. Definitely not Biff. Biff's cool.
Yeah. No, Chef Chandler Klein, who was on our show before, said Biff was on.
I've always hated. I believe it was covered in the show, but that Grandpa Joe, Blanca, he's very unlikable.
Dude, Grandpa Joe is
He's the
such garbage.
worst.
He's human garbage.
I literally
you know
hated
what?
him.
I like Dumbledore, but he's lost all respect for the House Cup in the first Harry Potter. He's he's still kind of in the
Dude,
doghouse.
Dumbledore has never just made it so Gryffindor won. Like nothing has been more of a sham than that whole thing.
He
Ron
rigged the whole
Weasley
thing.
wiped his ass the right way, and they got extra points.
He,
For the greatest game of Wizards chess ever seen.
That
no
was
one
good.
would as an administrator to a school or whatever, you would have said ahead of time, hey, Gryffindor's getting these points. You want to announce Slytherin the winner and then go, just kidding. You are good at chess. Here's 50 points.
Oh no, dude, they moonlighted him.
And then he adds up Hermione and Harry's points. He's like, oh my God, they're only tied. Neville Longbottom, this guy, give him points too.
Exactly, it's like La La Land and Moonlight, man. They had him on the stage, and it was like, nope. Get. All right.
God.
JP, anything else for you? Thank you very much for taking the time. Are you good next week?
Good next week.
Look, I was just talking about Q being good at following through. JP is the consummate professional.
I agree.
Following through every time.
Every time he's there, every time with good information.
Big sleeper, Ravenclaw money line next year. House Cup.
Oh, yeah? The Quidditch? They have a hell of a seeker, man. They have a hell of a seeker at Ravenclaw. Thank you, JP. Oh, shit. Okay, I hung up on him. I think he's about to say something, but too late.
So rude.
Dude, there's a delay on here. And like when we were talking to Q, like when I talked to him, on the phone, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Like when we had Hot Dog Eric on and Mo.
Yes, that one's bad.
It's nice to hear your voice again, Shay.
No, I'm here.
It's been about an hour since I've heard it.
I left for a little while, but, I came back.
Yeah.
So here I am. Everybody's welcome.
No, Shay, you know what? We don't have time. Calm down. Calm down.
We don't have time for that.
homie.
We always have time, but not this week.
Not this week.
Or
not
last
this
week or the week before.
I had good news last week.
I thought you might have
2 weeks ago,
done it.
maybe.
I thought you might have done it this week, so I
I
wanted to
did.
give you the chance.
I actually found something in California, but I'll leave it.
What?
Yeah. From my understanding, rent in California is supposedly free right now. I know.
How's that?
I know. Yeah, if you can't afford your rent, any past rent or future rent right now that you cannot pay.
How do you know you can't afford future? Well, I guess.
I mean,
it's
like you can't afford
okay.
rent. Like I worded that poorly.
You're fine.
They will be paying it for you. I also heard, and I don't know if this is just in California, but that's where I heard it was happening. You can steal anything as long as it's not over $900 worth of stuff from Walgreens in California.
I heard. I don't know about that. I heard it was not. It was they won't press charges or whatever on anything under $1,000. This was like a couple months ago when I heard that.
Oh, okay.
So maybe they lowered the threshold.
I literally just heard it tonight.
Okay. Well, then, that is news. California is a
1,000
complete shit show right now. We should have asked Q about that because he's living in San Diego. He probably knows all about
Yeah,
it.
he probably does. Maybe he'll listen to the podcast and give us a little insight on it.
See if Newsom, what he's doing, if he's still in office.
That's pretty shitty, man.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree as well. Yep.
All right,
So that's
Shay.
Shay's news.
Shay, that was hell of a news. You know what's the sad thing is that was not probably your worst news segment that you've ever done.
I'm mad.
That was Shay News.
Straight cash, homie.
I have news when other people have news. Like whoever talked about the cicadas, I ripped that from right underneath.
It
them.
was weird. We had a run where whatever we were saying, we were hearing in other things.
I know.
It was on the radio. I heard it on other podcasts. It was stupid things like what I said, red leather, yellow leather, and then I listened to a podcast and they said it like 2 days after.
I know. Yeah, that was like what 4 or 5 times did that happen?
Yeah, it was like a lot.
It was a lot for like really little random stuff.
Yes,
that you wouldn't normally speak on.
All right,
like
sure.
we're us. So
it's
very
been
good show.
We had a long run. I'm glad it went better with Q getting on.
Yeah,
because I thought there was going to be a technical error for a while, but.
No, but you figured it out as you always do.
We got it. So thank you, Shay, for coming on.
No, thank you.
Can we expect you next week? This is your formal invitation, okay? I'm putting it out there. Everyone can hear it. Shay's formal invitation. You're more than welcome.
My anxiety is way too high. I need the text message Sunday night and then an hour before I have to be here on Monday.
Okay. I understand. Okay. Makes total sense.
Right.
The sad thing is I'm serious.
Yeah.
All right, Shay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For Shay, for Q Williams, for Sports Guy JP, I'm Chris.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. We hope you had a good time. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the show to catch the latest episodes and share with your friends. We can't promise not to embarrass you. And if you just can't get enough, follow us on Instagram at Poor Man's Podcast 412, Twitter at Poor Man's Pod 412, and Facebook. This is Pittsburgh's own Poor Man's Podcast, signing off. See you next week.